Hey everyone, I wanted to take a little bit of time today to go over my bandsaw resaw fence that I made. I got a lot of questions about it when we did the tool review, so I just want to take a minute to talk about what were some of the issues that I was experiencing with the stock fence and how this setup has really improved the overall functionality of the tool. So when I first bought the tool and I started making my first cuts, one of the things that I was experiencing was it felt like I was getting chatter in my cuts. It felt like the tool wasn't running very smoothly, and that was translating into just really, really rough cuts. And so what I did is I just started looking at all the functionality of everything. Like I made sure that I was perfectly calibrated in terms of my 90 with the blade and the table. And just looking at all the functionality of the whole tool and what could be causing the chatter. And then I started looking and realizing that the fence itself actually had some flex. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of horizontal pressure to the open end of the fence to show you guys how the fence is having a little bit of deflection. So here I'm just applying a very small amount of pressure, and you can see that I'm getting a significant amount of movement from the open end of the fence. Once I identified what to me was like a pretty big issue with this fence, which was the deflection at the end, I tried a couple of things to remedy that issue, like applying an F-clamp on the open end just to kind of like hold the fence down and hold it rigid. But then that kind of caused some other issues with the blade or the fence being parallel with the blade, so not getting any binding in the cut, and then also the fence not being 90 to the table anymore. So once I clamped down on this end, it kind of caused some other issues. So I wound up just ditching the fence completely and rebuilding my own Resaw fence. So this is the first prototype that I made of my Resaw fence system. It's really, really simple, and it just made a huge difference in the saw's performance. So the first thing that I wanted to address with this Resaw fence was having the fence locking down in the front and in the back to make it completely solid and stationary. I didn't want to have any movement or vibration in the fence itself. So I just put some T-track into the base plate, and then I just have two wing nuts, and then you can lock the fence down and it's completely solid and stationary, so that way you know you're not going to get any vibration from the fence translating into your cut. Alright, so to go over some of the features that I included in this system was here in these little slots. I used to have some measuring tape in there, and I'd use that for calibrating the fence, making sure it's parallel with the blade. But that was about 3 years ago, and they kept pulling up, and I kept gluing them back down, so eventually I just tore them up. I still need to install some new ones. So on the base plate, I installed two T-track with wing nut, and that's just for locking down the fence and adjusting your rip capacity. One of the things with this fence and this system is that it definitely limits how much rip capacity you're going to have. You no longer have the full 14 inches. It's about 6 inches of rip capacity. But for me, I'm generally only making like about 1.5 inches to 1/16 of an inch, cutting my veneers and stuff like that. So I usually don't need a lot of rip capacity. I'm generally only using the saw for resawing and stuff like that. So for me, it's not an issue. For some people, you might need to just take the fence off, and then you'll have the full capacity of the saw again. So this was my first attempt at remedying some of these issues. And now that I've made this particular resaw fence, I have some other ideas just for ways to kind of give it a little bit more versatility and also better functionality, like, you know, maybe making like a cutoff on the back of the fence so that way it doesn't run into the saw so soon, and I can get better rip capacity. And then also another thing I want to do is maybe make some type of a channel for receiving the stock fence, so that way I can also have the low profile drop option as well, because right now this fence doesn't have that kind of low profile fence option. So there's a couple places that this fence is a little bit limiting, but in terms of just improving my overall resaw quality and just the quality of the cuts that I get off of this tool, it made a tremendous difference. Like, it literally, the tool was chattering and kind of running really unsmooth, and as soon as I installed this, it was just smooth cuts and I was getting beautiful results. So if you guys are experiencing some of those issues, I highly recommend you trying this and coming up with some of your own designs. And if you do make something really cool, tag us in the video, and we'd love to see what you guys make. But we'll probably be making an updated version of this soon. And when we do, we'll definitely make a video and share all of our design plans with everybody. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.